I hooked up with a stranger. The next morning, I discovered the awful truth. You wake up and you're like, yo, who's this Shrek right next to me? I am a female first-year college student at a coastal college in the eastern US. I was walking downtown one Friday night with my friends after leaving a music venue, drunk, when I made eye contact with a guy, but for an abnormally long amount of time.
Like this? Are you in love yet?
Smoldering. Blue steel.
Are you in love? Look at me. If you stare into someone's eyes for 30 seconds, you are in love.
That's right.
We're in love.
It's a fact.
Comment
Don't
we're in
deny
love if now we're in love.
Do it, please.
Do it, please, please.
I mean, at least 10 seconds, which is a long time, I will say. I noticed that he's cute and perhaps a little too old for me, but I'm a little wasted and I'm feeling bold, so I turn around and walk up to him. I asked him for his Snapchat, because that's just an easy way to talk to someone. He mutters to me, I'm from Germany though. I tell him I don't mind and I'd like to get to know him. He says, okay, and we exchange Snapchats. For a few days, he did not reach out, so I figured he wasn't interested. Okay, whatever. But he eventually reached out and we began talking frequently. We tell each other all about each other. He tells me where he's studying in Germany to be a doctor and how he's on a tour of the US and all about his hopes and dreams, family, and I do the same. I start to feel a sense of closeness to him before we even meet up again. One night, he asked me to hang out with him and his friends before he left for a new city to visit in America. I happily said yes. However, he is 23 and so are all of his friends. So he suggests bar hopping. Long story short, I get my fake ID taken, get extremely embarrassed, but he decides to come back to my dorm with me. We all know what's gonna happen here.
Oh, dang.
Reading Bible verses.
Doing calculus.
I love long, hard math equations.
Listening to OKOP as you fall asleep, as I know a lot of you do.
That's
if you're
right.
falling asleep to this right now, well, good night. Good night.
Actually, please fall asleep to our videos because that helps us a lot, actually. So we love that.
Yeah,
it's great.
Great.
Run it up, guys.
Good night. So long.
Night.
Farewell.
Farewell. Backup vocals, baby. We talked for a while and eventually we did the dirty deed. Some of the best I've ever had, might I add, and we did it many times, but irrelevant. We end up spending the whole night telling each other so much about our lives and being extremely vulnerable with each other. He had to leave the next morning for his flight for the next US city on the list, so he decides to cancel it and stay with me. Just kidding, he leaves.
Oh.
Sorry, love doesn't exist. Fairy tales are a lie told to children. Sorry.
Aw.
Sorry, Sam. Sorry, everyone. I am left at home a little sad and it came to an end. But I was content realizing this was a one-night thing and I shouldn't become obsessed. I'm not delusional and knew he probably did this kind of stuff with a bunch of girls. He is subjectively a very attractive man, and with that accent, I know other girls ate that up too. Didn't know German accents were a thing.
Ja, uns my puns.
Yeah, baby. He huffed and he puffed and he did the dirty deed.
He huffed and he puffed and he blew me panties down.
But I was still happy about it all. I expected him not to reach out much while he was on tour, and he didn't for a lot of it, but he would occasionally send me pictures of Vegas or San Francisco, Hollywood Boulevard, or just text and ask how I'm doing. He then told me that he's going to make a detour from his plans and come back to my town to see me.
Okay, you got a little double German visit.
Ooh, uns ja, dus ja. Obviously, this is very exciting for me, and I say no. Just kidding, I say yes. And we make arrangements for him to come and stay the night again. He flies back to me and comes over. He greeted me with a necklace that he bought while he was gone, matching his, and put it on me. We again talk about our lives in depth, our futures, and his tour. We do the dirty deed again multiple times, and we ended staying up until like 4 in the morning just talking.
Dude, they're in love. They're
this is OP.
They're in love.
Like, what are we doing over here? Now, I couldn't tell you everything we discussed, but it was very intimate, and he is a extremely romantic person. Like when we woke up, he watched me get ready, telling me how beautiful I am and how upset he is to say goodbye, kissing me in between every step of my morning routine.
Every crevice.
Every nook and cranny.
By the Germans.
Hold on, Sam. No sex. Right before he left, he pulled me back into bed and told me to never settle for less, that whoever ends up with me is an extremely lucky man, and that I am beautiful, intelligent, funny, kind, etc. He told me he wants to one day fly me out to his home and show me where he lives. It was a very sweet moment for me. I started crying because I don't think anyone's ever told me such nice things. I know, though, that men will say anything to get in your pants, but this felt real, at least to some degree. We hug and kiss and tell each other, have a great life, and we walked away.
Dang, dude. That's crazy. It's crazy you could have such a deep romance with someone in such a short time.
It's crazy. It's like you go to somewhere like Indonesia
Bali.
and then you meet someone who maybe they're Canadian, maybe they're Australian, one of those. And
All right, John, called out. Yes, I did have a love affair in Bali. It was my eat, pray, love moment. I'm not going to apologize for it.
Don't. It was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to witness.
John was watching the whole time.
Now, later that day, he removed me as a friend from his Snapchat. I am pretty upset, but again, realized this was not going to be a long-term situation, so I was okay. I brushed it off as a cool meetup with an awesome person that I was lucky to meet, once in a lifetime person that I'll never forget. This goes on for about a month, neither of us reaching out. Fast forward to last night. Some guy adds me by search on Snapchat, not a name that I recognize, but I accept it anyways. He sends me a snap, and to my shock, it was the German, saying that he misses me so much. I ask him why he's contacting me on a Snapchat of a person's name that isn't his. He then sends me paragraphs explaining that this was a fake Snapchat, that he has a long-term girlfriend back in Germany. Uns no.
Oh, crap. He was
Dream
cheating.
boy.
Dream Boy was cheating.
And that him and his girlfriend aren't doing well, and he wasn't sure if he really wanted to be with her.
No
Gee.
shit, y'all aren't doing well. You cheated on her like a bunch of times.
I bet he had a girl in every city. Comment below every city if you think he had a girl in every
city. I think he had a girl in every city too.
He told me that spending time with me was really great and refreshing for him, that he will never forget me, and I was more special to him than I realized, but he doesn't want her to find out, so he will be talking to me on this Snapchat because he doesn't want to lose contact.
Bro,
Buddy,
pick a side. Don't be Switzerland. Pick a fucking side.
Pick a side, bro.
Grow some cojones and either be with your girl and tell her. You should probably tell her the truth, or ditch her and be with America.
I didn't say much. I just told him that while I feel the same way, what he did was wrong and I wasn't sure what to say. He said, I know, sleep well, and when you wake up, we will talk about this more. I'm not sure that there's much to talk about. There is the Atlantic Ocean and a girlfriend dividing us. It's not like we're gonna get married, but he was very special to me, and I am ashamed to admit that I do want to talk to him. He blocked me on Instagram, I'm assuming, so I couldn't find the girlfriend.
My sister actually had a similar situation happen to her when we were in London. Yeah, I'll call her and see if she can tell us after.
There we go. I will probably stop talking to him and write this off as a crazy thing that happened to me in college, but I am sad. I feel guilty and terrible for the other girl in Germany, but he was one of the most memorable people I have ever met.
Wow, I mean, there's nothing really you could do because it sounds like she wanted to tell the girlfriend, but man was playing fucking 4D chess. It's almost like he's done this before.
Oh,
and
so
blocked
weird.
her from talking to his girlfriend.
It's almost like he visited all these cities and maybe got women in every single one.
Yeah. He's got different hoes
and different area codes
and different area codes. Let me see if my sister is available right now because she has a crazy story.
There we go.
Sophia, you free? You're on OKOP. I want you to tell a story. My sister is in Switzerland because she's a world traveler.
That's true.
And we just heard a story about this American girl that met this German boy, and they had this like lovely conversation and lovely night. And then she found out that he has a girlfriend. It reminded me of a similar story of you.
Oh. Yeah, right. Sam and I were in London. Picture this, London, 1 year ago. The Queen's dead. The Queen just died. Sam drags us into a bar late at night. There's some Belgian boys at a table. We join the table. I chat with the Belgian boy. He's super nice. and he asks for my Instagram.
He's so hot too.
I'm a catch. I give him my Instagram. And then this is months. Oh, okay. No, days, 2 days, that night. I don't know. That night, I look at the Instagram. There's a girl featured heavily on it. I'm like, that's probably his girlfriend. But why would he give me his Instagram? That's crazy. So I'm like, okay. But I don't see this man and I don't talk to him again after that. Because I'm like, I'm not going to talk to him. That's crazy. And then months later, I get an Instagram request on like my DMs. And I'm like, who's this? It's the girlfriend. So this whole long text being like, what happened between you and my boyfriend? Like, did something happen? And she was so worried about that.
Isn't that crazy?
Isabella's in the background laughing. I'm on OKOP right now. Oh, Isabella's looking at a cat. Anyway, where was I? I don't. What was it?
You were talking about the girlfriend with the long message.
Oh yeah, she sends this whole. I would read it. It would just take me a second to find it.
That's fine. Maybe just what you remember.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. So she DMs me and she's like, yeah, what happened between you and my boyfriend? Like, I'm just worried and I want to know. And so I sent back, I'm like, nothing happened. And yeah, her boyfriend really sucks. So I think they broke up because
he cheated on her.
Not on each other. Yeah. He has to have.
Yeah.
He has to have. I feel like you don't text the girl 3 months later who like he met. Like I wasn't anywhere on his Instagram, so I don't know how like she.
Bro, you just made such an impression that she had to ask.
I mean, she's like, this person is a catch.
Yeah,
Sophia is a threat.
Yeah, too pretty not to investigate. Well, Sophia, thank you for your beautiful story about your foreign Belgium boys.
Yes, all the Belgian boys. I'll be in Belgium in person this time in a couple of weeks.
You should reach out to him.
Yeah, and I'll say, hey, how dare you?
Message him, say I'll be in Belgium.
I'll be in Belgium. And then I pull like the, what's that show with the guy who's like, what would you do?
Oh.
What would you do?
Yeah, what would you do in this scenario? Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's called What Would You Do?
Yeah, I think it's called that.
It's called What Would You Do? And I lure him into a trap. I think they already broke up, so it wouldn't actually do anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. There's just you should reach out to him and say like, hey,
no,
I know I'm sorry about making you and your girlfriend break up, but I'm here now.
And you're the worst. And I say that, and I send a little picture, and it says, "What would you do?
What would you do?" Well, Sophia, thank you for telling us what you did do.
What I did do.
And I love you and I miss you.
Have
a bunch of amazing travels.
Thank you so much. I love everyone in the comments, especially you. Yeah.
You. Yeah, you.
You.
Unless you're from Belgium and you're around 22 and you were in London 6 months to a year ago.
We hate you.
Actually, that's right. Almost a year, like a year and 2 months. No, a year and a month.
A year and a month ago. All right. Love you, Sophia.
Okay.
Bye.
Bonus tea.
I don't know. What would you do if you met a foreign boy and found out he had a girlfriend? Would you create a fake Instagram to tell the girlfriend, or would you just leave it? Let us know in the comments.
Speaking of leaving things, Sam, there's something I want to find.
This next story, let's get into it. My boyfriend is binging Alpha Male podcasts, and it's about to destroy our relationship.
What positives have we seen from these podcasts, Sam?
Dudes doing more push-ups. Guys smoking cigars.
Not drinking from water bottles, because water bottles are for
pussies. Real men don't drink out of this. No way. Gross.
It's this. Drink it like a mule.
Yeah. Ooh. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years now, and it has been wonderful. We have been talking about marriage lately as it felt right for both of us. About what our goals over the course of a relationship, we often talked about what our goals are and what we wanted our future together to look like. I was always vocal about how I wanted a more equal, non-traditional relationship. You know, like not like, hey, you cook, you clean, I make the money. Not like that nuclear family thing. Like,
nah, not like I'm bringing home the bacon, so you better fry up some for me, babe. Not that energy.
that 1950s energy. We both work. We both don't want children. I expect to have a joint account with him and pay our expenses proportionally based on our income. I do make more than him, but I don't mind since I believe us to be a team. And for the last 3 years, he's agreed with me. Or so I thought.
As soon as she said I make more than him, I put ICU in the comments if you see where this is going.
See a man with a big ego and a lot of insecurity in the comments.
Big ego, something else a little small though.
These past 2 to 3 weeks, we have been setting a timeline on our wedding plans and all, basically talking about all the concrete steps and little details. And so I asked him again how he wanted our marriage to be like, but in more detail. He suddenly told me that he wants us to have traditional gender roles, and I was so confused. These past 3 years have not been that way. I am so confused how he just expects us to change after marriage. I have been dating him and wanting to pursue something serious with him because I love our current dynamic, and he seemed happy too. I have made it clear since day one that I want to maintain what we have now until forever. He has never told me that this was not the case for him. Now I feel tricked/lied to. He told me that although I make more of the income, he wants to be man of the house, king of the castle, I have a chair.
I am big man. I get to sit in chair. You make bacon for me.
You
make
wash
bacon
my
and
feet.
make bacon.
Make those piggies squeaky clean.
Oink, oink.
He wants to be the leader, and so what he says goes. What a dick. He has the final say in the decisions, and I cannot be questioning him. I told him this will lead me to not being heard and miserable. It will make me feel less valued. He says it's the best way to avoid arguments. The best way to avoid arguments, babe, is just don't fucking argue with me.
Babe, if you stopped having opinions and thoughts and feelings, you know how much easier it would be?
Bro, it's like almost like you wouldn't be here, which would be great. That's kind of what I want, but I want you here a little bit. But just like, I don't want you to be seen or heard, you know?
Come to think of it, could you just like send me all your money in like 30 seconds in the morning and evenings? Just like come over for 30 seconds and then just like leave all your money? Like, that seems fair to me.
You know what I'm talking about, babe. You know what I'm
don't
talking
question my
about.
decisions.
Don't question my decisions. It starts now. Oh, what is that? La, 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 la. Can't hear you because I am the man of the house. Jeez, what a dirtbag. Sure, less arguments because what I think wouldn't matter, but I would build resentment and then it's no longer a happy marriage. In my previous post, I mentioned that I have seen him binge watching alpha male podcasts recently. And I don't know if he has always thought this way or if it's recent. All I know is that my whole body is telling me this is not it. I cannot marry him. It sounds like trouble. But am I correct for thinking this way? I don't know why, but the last 3 years have been so wonderful that it's so hard for me to wrap my head around this sudden switch. Please give me some advice and courage. And we can jump into the comments because there is some tea that is spilt. But John, what do you think? What is your advice/courage for OP?
100%. This is like massive, major red flags. It's all signs are pointing to it is these podcasts, which we've had similar situations of like a guy who like read about women lying and saying, you know, the baby was the dad's, and then he started questioning his wife, and the kid was his, right? Like,
and you know, like I wouldn't categorize our podcast as an alpha male podcast, even though John and I are massive alphas. And so you beta boys better watch out because like, bro, are you whipped, bro? Are you whipped?
Wow.
Gross. Be alpha like your boys.
Yeah.
Protein.
We're so alpha, only women watch us.
Yeah, bro. We're so alpha. 80% of our audience is women.
Come on.
We're
sensitive. We're the most sensitive.
We're the most sensitive and the most alpha.
Come on.
So Lily 90210, ayo, Beverly Hills, says, it sounds like you never really knew him. He sounds like he's always been a misogynist. You just never got a clear and direct answer from him. You say you were always vocal about what you wanted, but was he? You never mentioned if he agreed with you. You said you asked him again, which shows you never had a solid answer, yet you both talked about marriage? Did you both agree on things, or was he passively acknowledging? These are all great questions. This doesn't sound like a sudden switch. This sounds like he was passive and now he's actively acting in his own best interest. It's just that it's come to crunch time. Maybe when you look back at your first interactions with him, you'll notice the pattern of passivity on his part. Not saying that this is the case or it's on you, but it's that the signs were always there. It's just not easy to recognize them. Women are conditioned to tolerate a lot of things because being single as a woman is the quote unquote worst thing ever to quote unquote alpha males as it happens. Be wary of what you think is right for you and what's expected of you to tolerate. The very fact that he could be influenced so easily by a couple Andrew Tates is fucking crazy.
Either direction is a great question to ask, but either direction is big red flags all over the place.
OP, I think you were right, actually. There were many times where he would just nod. And if I directed a question at him, he'd answer vaguely to kind of match mine and deflect. I think that made me think he agreed, especially since he never said anything opposing it. And he clearly knew my position. I think I just expected people to be honest, gave him the benefit of the doubt, I guess. I'm naive. Thanks for your response. Dwells2301, another commenter, says, this seems unrealistic. People change as they mature. Life and circumstances change. You need to be able to grow and change too. OP says, of course, I meant in the sense of the equality aspect of the relationship, that as we grow and we are thrown obstacles, we can still be a team and work things out. No one is below the other. Each person is valued, equally heard, and loved. And then finally, Mustang19671967 says, maybe go to counseling. He maybe is watching these because he feels disrespect. Don't know, just must be a reason he started listening to the podcast. This is a huge deal, so you need to figure out or break up because these are two totally different mentalities in marriage. 100%. Like, it sounds like OP is not on board for this relationship style at all. So needs to be resolved before they get married. OP, he is unfortunately not into the idea of counseling because it's super beta. They didn't say beta, but although in the past 3 years he said he was, but recently his mind seems to have changed a lot. And there is a juicy update, but I don't know. What do you think of all that advice from the commenters?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like all of the advice is really sound. I think all of them are questions that she should be asking. And like, I just like, it seems that there's such a small chance that he's going to like come back from this. And if not, just like royally F up everything before he realizes, if he ever realizes what he's doing wrong.
Yeah. I mean, once you fall down some of these rabbit holes, it's really hard to get out. But let's see what happens in this update. So thank you for all your responses. I wanted to update you guys on what happened and hopefully answer some of your questions along the way. I luckily don't live with him or have shared any assets. He also did explicitly say that he expects me to continue working, so I guess he wanted the best of both worlds. And before we started dating, I was hesitant due to our age gap. I have heard horror stories, so I've been very careful about power dynamics. Oh, because she is 25 and he is 33. But he was amazing for the last 3 years, so I did put my defenses down eventually. My friends and family also liked them. They always said we genuinely seemed happy together and complimented each other well. On to what happened. He came over to my house the night I posted on Reddit, which isn't unusual. We spend most nights together after work. I knew I had to break up, but didn't know how to yet. So all right, OP is like going to break up with him.
Smart girl, alpha move.
Yeah, alpha move. I was still debating if I should ask him more questions or just end it. And if I end it, do I tell him everything or keep it concise? Luckily, he did not suspect anything so far, so it bought me some time to figure out my next step. Thought. As soon as I came in through, he tried to initiate intimacy. And I said no, since I was not in the mood, understandably so. He got angry. He has never done this before. We've always had a very healthy, fulfilling sexual relationship. But now he kept trying to convince me to do it with him and asked me why I was putting my need over his. So that logic gets reversed so quickly. Why are you putting your need above mine? That I can just force myself to do it for the sake of our relationship. I said that I wasn't feeling well. I know I shouldn't even have to justify it though. He said that even if I'm not feeling well, it's not an excuse. I was disgusted. I fell out of love that instant. I mean, I was already in the process of it, but this really did it. I also felt very unsafe. I stood my ground, told him that this is not consensual and that someone's health is more important than his need to do it. I kept repeating it until he eventually stopped pushing, but he didn't leave my place until an hour later. I was afraid to anger him by telling him to leave, so I just stayed quiet doing stuff around the apartment until he decided to leave. Luckily, nothing happened to me, but wow. I told my friends and family everything. They support me in my decision to break up and help me prepare my speech. I asked him to meet me in a public space the next day, as one of the comments suggested. I mean, based on his action. Also crazy that like the relationship seemed fine. And then he's like, all right, got to establish like these crazy alpha rules.
And like we do always say there's probably red flags earlier, but also maybe he's just like so impressionable. He just like went just all the way on the wrong side of the spectrum. And now here we are.
But he's 33. It's not like this is some like 17-year-old kid, like he's fucking 33. It almost feels like he was lying for 3 years to get to the point where like the girl couldn't turn around and get out of it. And he's like, hey, these are the rules of the relationship now. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like saying whatever he can to get her to a certain point and then being like, all right, now let me switch it up on you. Like fucking terrible.
Insane.
My friends were nearby keeping an eye. He was still angry at me because I haven't been talking to him and I refused to do it with him. He asked me why I expect him to take care of me when I'm unwell, but I didn't give him the doing it yesterday. I decided to not waste my breath in explaining something so basic. I went on with my breakup speech as prepared, where I told him everything, how disrespectful he's been, all the podcasts, etc. He suddenly looked so scared and begged me to take him back. He said he understands what I'm saying and that I'm right about the podcast and that he will work on it. He was trying to convince me not to break up, but I did not believe anything he said. I held my ground and told him there is no room for discussion. It's over, and I left. There's still a little bit more, but dang, girl, let's go.
Yeah, I love it.
I feel like all of this alpha male podcast advice is like, it works so well in their heads. Like, yeah, this girl's going to do exactly what I want. Yeah, like this is foolproof. And then when they're confronted with like the reality of where this behavior leads you, they're like, oh no, I had no idea that I was being an asshole. Like
they go from big scary wolf to pissing puppy. Just like, please
instantly.
Take me back.
Now I feel a weight lifted, but I am also heartbroken. I know this was the right thing to do. I just feel defeated. I wake up so anxious and I feel like crying constantly. I am barely eating. I am seeing a therapist next week to help cope. If you guys have words of encouragement and maybe success stories of meeting your person, I'd love to hear. Thank you all sincerely. You all help me in finding courage and strength in my time of need.
Well, OP definitely did the right thing, and I think she did it. In like
you
the
made the right
best way
decision, OP. You made the right decision,
Absolutely.
OP. But it does it sucks. It sucks. It sucks.
So my question is, maybe not in a case like this, but if you see someone kind of like going down this route, do you try to
the alpha male rabbit hole,
or just like even anything like that, where you kind of see your partner starting to go in this direction where you're completely misaligned? Do you throw down the gauntlet then, or sit back and wait?
Throw down the gauntlet as like we're breaking up, or like, hey, like, what are you watching?
I guess like go all out and like, hey, I'm going to break up with you if you continue going down this route. Or
if like my partner was, discovering some toxic framework for like toxic philosophy framework, I would probably be like, hey, like, let's watch a little bit of this together. And like, because I don't think this is actually as beneficial as you think it is.
Yeah, I like that.
Ideally, I'm in a loving relationship, and now like this, like my partner is like going down a dark path. It would be the same if like my partner was going down some like crazy conspiracy theories or like super damaging like beliefs, like stuff that's just like hurting them and maybe either them socially or relationship. And so I would just like try to talk them through it and really try to find out like what they're starting to believe. And then it's just like, if you start really holding those beliefs strongly and they don't align with your own, then that's when you start having the conversations like, hey, like there's a mismatch here. I don't know if we can be together continually,
100%. I'm very curious for everyone in the comments to throw down what they would do. And if you've had any scenarios where you could see your partner going down this dangerous path and what you did.
Or do you know a friend that's gone down like some crazy YouTube rabbit holes or like crazy YouTube rabbit holes, Andrew Tate rabbit holes, like alpha male podcast rabbit holes? Let us know. Also, what's the equivalent of the alpha male for women podcast?
I don't know.
Is it us?
Wait.
Is
Who
it
are
us?
we?
Who
What is our
are we?
influence? We're influencing people to divorce. That's what we're what we're influencing.
I feel like we give people pretty balanced and good advice. Like I think we do. I feel pretty good about how we interact with these stories. But we would love to hear your stories. Put your answers in the comments. And also, if you want to literally tell us a story to our ear holes directly, you can call us at 440-508-6567. It's our call-in line. And we're releasing some episodes very soon. I think actually by the time you have seen this video, we have already released our first call-in episode. So I hope you like them. And with that, we'll see you very soon.
Peace.